welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. We're working on the last of the charity quilts, well, not forever, but just for the month of February, because the whole month of February we've done charity quilts every weekend. The last of the girls, so this would be the second set of the girls. We did the 2 sets of the boys, and this is the second set of the girls. Got a little carried away with my cutting, so I actually have 4. This will be the 4th quilt top to go. So I just took my very easy Olaf 12.5 by 12.5 ruler, placed it out on my fabrics, cut a big square, went to the halfway point and cut. That's it. Big, huge rectangles, easy peasy. And this is some pretty stuff that you get to create. So this is 24, 12 and 12, 12 pinks and 12 blues. It gives you a great size. Okay, I'll just show you there for a second. That one there, there's many different styles you can do this. So I'm just gonna show you. So, you know, I obviously got carried away with the cutting. So there's that one there. I'll show you the second one. Just a mix and matches of fabrics and put a little, color design into it. The one we're working with today is gonna have 3 colors, okay? So there's that one there, very cute. And then, if you want to add a little something different, you can put it on a bit of it like an angle, or like bricks, or whatever, steps, whatever. So we're gonna do something very similar to this today with our 3 colors here, right? So pretty cool. And fast and easy, didn't take very long to whip these up. And it's a nice big pop of color for kids. Kids love color. And it's a great place to stitch out a good pattern or use a funky design or whatever to practice your free motion, okay? So to do something similar to like this, you need 4 in a row. You need 3 of those, and then the other rows are going to be 3 full rectangles and then 1 half. It's going to be split on either side, okay? So we need to determine, I have 12 of the orange and then 6 of the flowers and 6 of the blue. So that's kind of how I was mixing it up. So I know I'm going to have orange pretty much every opposite one, right? So we'll put those 2 together, and then we'll put an orange and a blue together, and we're just going to sew. We're just going to make packages and sew, pretty much. And I'm not changing out my pink thread. I'm just leaving it the way it is. It's pink on the top and the bottom. Using my high performance foot for my Janome Horizon 15,000. Love this machine. Does embroidery as well. And this foot helps ensure that you're keeping your 1/4 inch seam allowance. And you're just going to feed them in. I'm going to feed it, because we know an orange has got to go to 1 each. So I'm just going to feed an orange to a blue and feed an orange to the flower with the buttons and so on and so forth. And some of this fabric has been donated. Some of it's left over from school projects that I've done for schools. So it's nice to be able to make use of it. You know what I mean? So we're just going to sew all those. Just do little 2 packs of 2. Because you know you're going to have to trim one anyways, no matter what. Okay. Do-do-do. And it goes together really fast. Once you get it all cut, and that's what I mean, you just put the little big square ruler right down the center and do all the way around, or 2 sides, and then flip and do the 2 other sides. And you have everything cut in no time at all. And I didn't even realize I managed to get that much cut. I was like, oh, well, I should have at least 2 here. And 3. Get another one done. I was like, oh, wow. Keep going. So, and then just add some do a little difference. So you can see different stages and how this one big block can be done in many different ways, right? You know, have a few colors, set up some sort of a pattern, right? You know, like that yellow that I had the like little step effect there, or the pink and the burgundy and the pink and the burgundy, that sort of thing, you know. Mix and match. Okay. Oop. Didn't want to cut it, but that's okay. Just keep puttering along. What you see behind me is our scrappy green Bargello we've been working on our live stream on Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern. Please feel free to join us there if you haven't had a chance to. There's lots of chit-chatting going on, and people get to know each other like we're a big old happy sewing family. Sharing a cup of tea and words of wisdom. So join us there, if you can. If not, we always record it and display it for live. And then we include the chat too, so you can always follow along. But it has been a very fun project. I have to say it has turned out far better than I had anticipated, because of even with the scrappiness, I was a little, maybe not, maybe, I'm not sure. But I love it. Love it, love it, love it. We'll be finishing off all those rows tomorrow. I have from here. Here's where I've got it all sewn together, but I have all these that all have to get sewn on. So we'll chat about that and pin some seams and all sorts of fun stuff for tomorrow. So these will be being quilted up on not this Wednesday's Long Arm Wednesday, because that's our 9-patch charity quilt from everybody out there who donated it. So thank you, big hugs. So you'll be seeing that. This will be done on the one after that. So into the beginning of March, we will be doing that one, these girl ones here. And I realized if I'd maybe just chosen a yellow instead of the flower, I could have had another like boy or a gender neutral sort of quilt, but that's okay. Oh well, I cut what I cut. I'm using it up. I don't need it going back in my stash. Just use your little side cutter to separate everything. You can press now or press afterwards. It doesn't matter. These seams are big and they're fast and easy to get together, so you can always press the whole thing after. Okay, now let's lay this out, because we know we need a first row. If we want to start it off like this, or we can start it off with the half, it doesn't matter, but we'll start off with the whole. So we'll have blue on the top, and then orange, and then blue and orange. Or actually, no, we'll go like this, sorry. Like there, okay. Or should we mix each one, because it's just going to be different. Let's do blue. Let's look crazy. Hopefully it works out. In my mind, I see it, but maybe it won't. Okay, so we'll sew these ones because that's our first row. Oops. I almost wanted to sneak out there. I saw you, thread. I saw you trying to sneak out. Okay, and then our next one. Okay, once we lay it out. Okay, there we go. So this makes a nice long, it's great lap quilt. You know, it really does. So this one would go up here. So we'd have to cut that flower one in half. Okay, because it kind of have to go at the halfway point. And then again, here and here. And then I need a half of an orange, which that would be again on another side. So, you know, you're just reusing, or no, I'd actually have to be the other half of this one here. So my mistake. So let's take this one, cut it in half. And it should be 6 1/4, okay? So make sure you're doing your math. Line it up. Because if it's 12 1/2 by 12 1/2, 6 1/4 is 6 1/4 is half of that, right? So line yours little seam up. Try and get a nice straight line on your ruler where it's lined up here, and then your quarter on this line here. And as long as everybody's kind of lining up on the bottom as well, you know you're going to have a nice square cut, and it's not going to be like on an angle or anything like that, okay? So press firmly on your ruler. I'm going to take, oops, hopefully I don't lose too much of that. There we go. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take this, add it to the bottom of this one, and then sew those two seams together, and that'll be our second row. So easy peasy, really easy. It's only 4 blocks per row, and you're cutting one in half and adding it to the other end. Okay, see, now we're going to add these two. And you can, like, I did those all in the afternoon, like yesterday afternoon. I was waiting for a customer to come pick up one of her quilts, and I think half an hour, 40 minutes, I had all 3 of them done. So I was like, wow. And of course, then I go show Pop all my excitement. You know, what have I been up to in the quilt shop today, Pop? He's like, oh, that's more than one. I go, yeah. Well, I cut, so, you know. And they'll find homes. I think we'll send them one of each. We'll send them with the one. Will go with the pink and brown bear paw quilt that we're going to donate. That was the one we had just finished before the green Bargello scrappy quilts. It's beautiful, actually. I'm just truly loving it. And we'll send one small one with each of the bigger ones. So, okay, and the pin on either side, because it should be the same. You know what I mean? And because the seams are in between each other, you don't have to be completely exact on that. There's no like seam police sort of thing. Hold on, there we go. All right, then we'll sew that down, and that's row 1 and 2 together, and then we just keep repeating that for the next two sets of rows. And you can just keep going and going and going, and depending on how big you wanted your quilt, like I have them going this way, but you could certainly, you know, add another 12 rows and you've got a great quilt going this way, like a nice brick effect. Like the kids are into the Minecraft and all that sort of fun stuff, you know? You never know. I'm sure you could create hopefully you got it, sorry, had a chance to join Pop on Tech Talk Thursday. They were designing a table runner, like a basket, so you could, kind of like a universal basket theme, so you could put Easter in it, you could put Christmas in it, you could put fall in it, you could put summer in it, you could put, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter, you just add your own little other applique on top of it sort of thing. I thought it was really quite pretty, so hopefully we'll end up doing that. Maybe as a weekend project, and it'll turn into like an Easter basket. Okay. So all my pins are out. So there we go. There's row 1 and 2, and we just keep repeating and repeat and repeat. So we'll take these two, and we know it's going to go on the other side like that. So oops. Aw. Snaggles. Thanks, Pop. All right. So we'll sew those two together. Sorry for knocking them off. Thank you. All right. So we already know we need another one of that, so we might as well sew it together. So we already have the thought of what we need to get going on here. And of course, if you were to add more colors, because I only got 2 of each, if you were to add like 5, you'd have to make sure you were flipping and flopping to make sure you didn't have, you know, too many oranges together or too many blues together, that sort of thing, as the color example. You know. All right, so we got those 2. And now for these 2, we know one of these flowers on either side needs to be cut in half. So let's do that now. Measure down 6 1/4. Okay, line it up, line it up. So that'd be 6 1/2, that's 6 1/4. And we'll do this twice. We'll do this once here on this one, and then on this one. And we'll finish off those last 2 rows and put them together real fast. So if you knew what you wanted ahead of time, if you knew how you were staggering your blocks, you'd cut everything. You'd cut everything and then just start putting them together like a crazy person. Not that you're a crazy person. I am though. All right, 6 1/4. Make sure we're lined up on all sides so we don't get no wonky cut. We don't want no wonky cuts. Okay, perfect. There we go. Okay, so let's put this guy on here, and then we'll put the other rows together super fast and easy. Boop, boop. There we go. And like I say, you can pin or just line her up and go. I like this because it's nice big bold colors, and kids like color, right? So I'm not saying they wouldn't appreciate a very intricate quilt or something like that. I'm sure they would, but you know, give them something they don't have to worry too much about, that they can play and have fun and not worry it's gonna fall apart or something. Not that it would. Anyway. All right. Now, we'll piece together. Here, we'll just pop that over there for a second. Then we'll get the other one lined up here. Needs a hole. And then a half on one side. Oop. I kicked the pedal. Mr. Clyde Magoo has been napping on my pedal a lot lately, so I don't know why. He's trying to interrupt the sewing time for some loving time or something. All right, make sure your seams are all going the correct way. I had that one like, uh-oh. Whoops. Half one way, half the other. At least I was consistent. Okay, so that's another row. And then we will do this one here. That'll be the other 3 rows to sew together. Like I say, you can make this as big or as small as you like. To me, I just thought it was a nice, good chunk of fabric. And of course, if you had, you know, 6.5-inch squares or 6-inch squares or 5-inch squares, it's pretty much the same principle. And of course, you could use big, long strips and then a couple of short pieces, you know, like this by this, and have them side by side, you know. Oh, I did that wrong. What a dork. See? Yapping away. Where's the seam ripper? Okay, now that was fine. Yes, this one was dorkied because it should have went on the other end. Seam ripper's my best friend today. Oh. Of course, this is a really tight stitch. It's on the 2.4. There we go. Get started. And the fabric is very similar. Like it's like a broadcloth sort of cotton poly mix, you know, easy to wash and wear. And with the poly batting and then the kids' fun background fabric that we have with the paint brushes and the paints and the scissors and all that sort of artsy stuff, I think it'll go very well together. Sometimes you have to mix fabrics to see what it's like, you know. And if if you're doing, like, you got to think of what they used to use, you know, way back when. It was anything and everything. Though it was continuously washed and worn, so it's not like it was going to shrink much anyways at that point. But it's a good idea if you were looking to do something like that, is go to the second-hand stores and pick up shirts and that sort of thing, because then they've been always washed and worn. Wrong? No, it's not wrong. He tried to fool me. You saw that. Well, I did. He tried to fool me. I'm watching you, pup. So we've had a couple of requests to do another live shoot in the kitchen. So besides butter tarts, what would people like to see? I make a really good chocolate cake. But it gets everywhere. Ask Cousin Carol. Chocolate cake gets everywhere. It does, it really, really does. All right, so let's take this and sew it in its sequence. And then we'll add the other 2. Okay. And then that's it. Easy peasy. Like I say, you can spend a morning doing some cutting and the afternoon putting about 6 quilts together super fast. If you want a, guild project to do, something fast and easy, or something to do with new sewers, anything like that, make a couple of, play mats or, things for the floor for couple of kids to play on or whatever, so they weren't just laying on the floor. Or it's a great way to use some of your really funky, weird fabrics and make a dog bed. Make a cat bed, you know. Add all your bits of fluff and stuff that you have left over from all sorts of projects in there. Even scrappy bits of fabric you know you don't really know what to do with and don't want to toss out. They'll sleep on it. Clive does all the time. Perfect. There we go. See, it's coming together. There's two. Okay. And I chose nice bright colors that I have here because, like I say, kids love color. All right, so I need to do the blue because that'll be attached to there. So the blue here, there, and then we can attach that row on. I kind of like working that way. I'll do 2 rows and maybe attach it to the big pack, and then do like, you know, like the Bargello behind. Do a few rows and then attach it to another section. And then that way you're not constantly working with that big, huge unit. You're only using it every now and again to attach other bigger units too, so, or other smaller units. If you break it down in your mind of what needs to happen, sometimes projects that seem a little bit overwhelming are a little bit easier to handle. Okay, I'm trying to put my ends to ends together here. See, I have a little bit of a loop here, just a little curve. When I'm going through the machine, I'm going to put my hand right here. I'm going to put it on my under fabric and kind of just feed it in a wee bit faster than the top one. As I get a little closer, it's easier. And that should help. It actually helps even it out a bit. You're kind of just pushing it a little bit beforehand. Just giving it like a little extra push. And then that way helps decrease a little bit of this bowedness, I guess. There, and then what was off about 1.5 inches before is now all nice and even. It's just the way the fabrics are. You know they're even. They're just fighting to stay together, that's all. All right, so now we add this little 4-pack to this little 2-pack. We're not talking wrappers. Sorry. The gangsta days. Did I sew those together right? Yes, I did. Okay. Sometimes it's best to check before sewing. Just saying. That's where pinning comes in handy. And then there's another design with 3 colors. You know, like that one, actually that, yeah, 1, 2, 3. That's different than that one. You know, I did that one as like a little step effect with the 2 colors. And then this is just like a mix with the orange in between. Okay. And there we go. Super easy peasy. And I'll give that a press, but afterwards, you know how to do it. You know I know how to do it. So yeah, it's super easy and cute. Get them done really fast. It's a great, like, look, it's touching the floor to me. I'm 5'5.5" on a good hair day. And it's great for a lap. You know, cuddle up on the couch, maybe to take in the car or camping blanket, anything like that. Super easy, fast. Great things to, you know, if you got people coming over to crash your pad for the summer or something like that, make them up something like this. You know, what a nice welcoming gift. Okay, so check that out. Just big, huge rectangles in a few colors. And look what you can make. Look what you can make. Eh? Is it beautiful? This is one of my favorites. Kind of reminds me of cotton candy. I have to stitch it out with big fluffy clouds or something like that. So take care, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you tomorrow on the live stream, where we're going to continue to finish this off and maybe talk about some borders and maybe what border colors. Okay? All right, take care, everybody. Big hugs. See you tomorrow.